There we go. And if y'all could go ahead and mute yourselves too, then we'll have time for questions at the end. And also, if you have questions as we're going through, Erinn's going to be checking the chat, and we're going to have some spots kind of where we stop and talk a little bit too. So that said, welcome everybody. I'm so excited about this, y'all. I've been just like so jazzed all week. Obviously I love talking about this stuff, but we're talking about the Menopause Healthy Eating Program. And so this is a version of the Shred 10 program that the Juice Plus company does. And so we're going to be talking about that tonight. So before we dig in, I know we were talking a little bit before we hit record, but if y'all want to put in the chat, you know, what kind of symptoms you're experiencing. I mean, because there's so much that happens to our bodies, and it manifests in just all kinds of different ways. And you know, do you feel like you need to eat healthier, but it's really hard to stick to it? A lot of my clients that I work with in my health coaching practice, like, we all know what we need to do, but it's so hard to make those changes. And one of the other big questions I get is about supplementation. So we're going to be talking about that too. We're going to be specifically talking about some supplements that Erinn and I really love, we've been taking for years, and how those can help. And all right, so chat time. Can y'all just in the chat tell me like what feelings and images come up when you think about menopause? Because I know for a lot of us, like, and I'm going to put myself in this category, like my first missed period, I just panicked. I was like, oh my gosh. Because the idea of menopause really scared me, because there's these images, I mean, of, you know, you get old, you're washed up, you're, you know, I think about osteoporosis a lot, and just the fear of, you know, going into my old age and not, I guess, thriving anymore, and, you know, falling and breaking my hip, and like, that's it. So, you know, how do y'all feel about it? Like, do you feel scared? Or are you like excited about it? Like, what goes through your mind when you think about this?
We've got lots of responses: hot flashes and brain fog, always hungry, mood, just don't feel like myself. I'm not sure what healthy eating is anymore. Keto worked, but screwed up my digestion, and fruit is making me gain weight, says Angela. Mary O says weight gain, anxiety, hair thinning, hot flashes. Angela says weight gain, mental fog, not sleeping well. Novella says yes to the weight gain. Teresa, weight gain and change in emotions. Ms. Denise says I co-sign Angela. And then is it Takia, or I hope I'm saying that right, irregular periods and mood changes, and I wish it would be easier. And Novella says I'm not scared, just want it to stop. Kimberly says weight gain, night sweats, anxiety and sleeping issues. And Jody says moody and feeling weaker. Tawana says not scared.
Good. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, and I wanted to share a few statistics with you. I'm a total statistics nerd. I have a biology degree. Like, I love this stuff, but I feel like this really helps us paint a picture too. So there was a study done, or this, you know, a survey, and 3% of women reported they had a trusted resource for menopause information. And like, I know that there's a problem with this, but that just shocked me. Like, that is very few people. In the survey, 56% of women reported they had no resource at all. And this one really blew my mind. 80% of graduating internal medicine residents did not feel competent to discuss or treat menopause. That's just, wow. I mean, that means it's just really not being discussed in medical school. And so if you go to your doctor, as much as they want to help you, like, they only have so many tools. And a lot of times they're just not versed in what you need. And like, our medical system does not address nutrition. Doctors that are going through medical school get just a teeny tiny bit of nutrition information. Like, it's just not the focus. And even if it was, you know, when you go to your doctor, you have your doctor's appointment and you're with them for what, 20, 30 minutes, maybe. They don't have the ability to help you address this stuff because this is lifestyle. It's what you're doing every day. And it's up to you as the patient to take that information from your doctor, that advice, and then go and figure out how to do it yourself. So as much as they want to help, a lot of times they just can't. And this is why we're all here tonight. I think we know this, but what we eat has a profound impact on our menopause symptoms. Most of the disease, I can't remember what the statistic is, it's well into the 90s, it's like 90% of disease in the United States is lifestyle disease. That means it's related to what we're doing every day, and what we're doing every day is eating. And the good news about that is we have control over that and we can change it. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And so just if you're wondering if you're in the right place, if you feel like you're struggling with your menopause symptoms, I think we all are on the same page with that, and improving your diet can help. You want to get off the hamster wheel and have control over your body and hormones, and you think that diet and supplementation can help. They absolutely can. And you want to eat healthier, but you don't know how. And that was one of the comments we got. And I hear that a lot from my clients. And so, hi, I'm Maggie. I am a health and life coach, and I work with women in menopause and perimenopause to change their lifestyle and their diet and address their changes that they're going through. And I am in perimenopause. I am 44. I really got interested in this as a coach because I've had my own health issues that have been helped tremendously by diet and lifestyle. And I did start having some hot flashes and skipped a period and kind of panicked. And I was like, okay, well, it's coming for me. Not anything I can do about it, but I know that I can help myself, and I know I can help other women. And Erinn, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hello, I'm Erinn Lynam. I'm a master certified health coach, and I love helping families really get better nutrition. And Maggie and I met talking about nutrition. She was actually working with my husband, and he was like, you guys have got to meet because you guys are on the page. And so I'm postmenopausal. I'm 54. And, I thought that I would be through this. I've really gone through menopause pretty seamlessly, I think, because of my lifestyle, being in nutrition and coaching people all about how to have vitality and, a healthy life. But it has lingered, that those hot flashes have lingered. And, that's where Maggie and I put our heads together and really started going, there are so many women struggling and going to the doctor and not getting answers. And so that's where, we are excited to share with you some of the nuggets that we found and some of the resources and tools to help you go through this, a little bit easier and not have those symptoms linger.
And I'll say, I remember we were having a conversation a couple of years ago, and I said, have you been through menopause yet? And you're like, yeah, I guess so. I was like, well, I want to do that. And like you were saying, because of all the stuff that you've been doing for yourself, your main symptom has been hot flashes, and we can now pinpoint that and work on it and figure out why that's happening. And so one thing I want to point out before we move forward and start talking about food is that we are a very complicated chemistry lab. Like, we have this idea of, calories in, calories out, and that's really how we look at food. But it is so much more complicated than that. And that comes down to, when we're talking about gaining weight as well, it's what you're eating, but it's probably not how much you're eating. What you're eating can have a huge impact on your hormones, and those hormones are what can make you gain weight. Which we'll talk a little bit more about, because as you go through menopause and your estrogen drops off, that's really when you start seeing a lot of those changes, and it's a pretty complicated process. But I want y'all to know that menopause does not have to be scary. This can actually be a really empowering, exciting time of growth and newness. And, you know, it doesn't have to be something that we suffer through. And so now we're going to be talking about the food, the menopause healthy eating program. And so this is going to help you balance your hormones. It's going to help you reduce your menopause symptoms, have more energy. And what I hear from a lot of women, and I totally get this, is I just want to feel comfortable in my own skin again. And that's what making these lifestyle changes can do for you. Okay. So we're going to be talking about the Shred 10, which is a program that Erinn and I both do with a lot of our other Juice Plus folks. And it's something that we do as a group. We repeat it monthly, but I've taken this and been using it with my clients to just adapt this to a longer time frame, because it's great to do it 10 days at a time. It helps you develop new habits and, you know, slowly make these changes, which we want to do. But when we're trying to get our hormones under control, we need to do it for a while. And then kind of we can loosen the reins a little bit. And I started to put this presentation together because there's 10 guidelines that we wanted to talk about, but I was like, we are going to be here for a really long time if we try to cover all 10. So we're going to talk about the Juice Plus products, which is the first two. The capsules, the chewables, and the shakes. So those have been really important to a lot of women, not just us, in their menopause journey. Caffeine and alcohol, processed foods, gluten and dairy, and artificial sugars. I think the other ones, like, we know those are important. We know we need to drink plenty of water, get plenty of sleep, try to exercise, and intermittent fasting. I would love to talk about, and if we have time, we can. But I wanted to talk about these other ones to make sure that we get these out of the way. So number one is the Juice Plus capsules and chewables. And so Erinn and I are going to do this one together. We both get very excited about it because they have been, for both of us, like we were both sick in different ways, and these were really important to both of our health journeys. And they're so amazing. But just to try to kind of explain to you what they are, it's fresh fruits and vegetables in a capsule. And, you know, fruits and veggies, we know they contain vitamins, minerals, enzymes, all of these wonderful things, which is why we need to eat them. But we're supposed to eat 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And I do not know anybody who's able to do that. It's hard to do, especially when you're busy, you know, you're working, you got the kids doing stuff, or, you know, you got the grandkids that you're hanging out with, you know, that it's been summer, right? We're all traveling, we're visiting. It's just really hard to do that as much as we want to. And good nutrition supports all of the systems in our body. And as we're going through perimenopause and menopause and our hormones are changing, it puts a lot of stress on everything in our body. And so the more nutrition that we can have, the better our nutrition can be, the better off we're going to be overall. And like I was saying before, you know, poor nutrition is directly correlated to most diseases and causes of death in the United States. And post-menopause, as our estrogen drops off, that's when we are at risk for cardiovascular disease, when we start to really start losing bone mass and muscle mass. And nutrition, again, supports all of these to keep us healthy. And we like to say that Juice Plus bridges the gap between what we should eat and what we actually eat. We can have the best of intentions, but, you know, the chances that we're going to be eating this beautiful rainbow over here on the right every day is very slim, even with the best of intentions. And Erinn, do you want to talk about the 45 fruits and veggies?
Yes. So just a little background. So my family history, my mom had a hysterectomy. She went through menopause and it was horrible. She was like 5 days not on her cycle, and then bleeding for 25, and horrible migraines. And she ended up having cervical cancer. My grandmother had breast cancer. My great grandmother had Alzheimer's. And so I really wanted to know what I could do to protect my own health and not go down that same line. And what I found through my research is the more plants that you eat, the better and more protected you are because of the antioxidants in fruits and vegetables. So I started juicing, trying to get more plants in my body, and nobody in the family would join me. And, I have, a husband that was overweight and on antidepressants and kids that were constantly sick. And, I was like, I'm learning so much about the power of plants. And that's when, my story's kind of long, but when I found Juice Plus, it made complete sense to me because I saw that this is powdered plants. This is fruits and vegetables and berries that have been juiced and put into capsules and chewables. And then they also have a plant-based protein mix that also has more plants in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I was juicing about 8 plants a day. And, my husband would say, I'm not drinking liquid soccer field, and it was expensive. There was a lot of cost attached. There was a lot of time attached, a lot of mess attached. And this was like, oh my gosh, this is literally powdered produce that has been juiced and dehydrated. And I love that they dehydrate it in such a way that all of those live enzymes are kept intact. And so, I don't have the same story as my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. I really did kind of sail through menopause, but I started this journey when I was around 40, flooding my body with plants. And what I love is that your body, all these plants go to specific organs in the body. There's something called meridian energy. And just like a carrot, your grandmother used to say, carrot is good for your eyes, or eat those tomatoes, they're good for your heart. Well, every major organ in your body is covered with the plants that are in Juice Plus. And so it's so powerful. There was an article in Time magazine that said, fruits and vegetables are not just good for you, they're so good for you, they could save your life. And the problem is that a lot of people can't or won't eat enough fruits and vegetables. And it seems like, oh my gosh, this is like the easy button for getting more plants in your body. And we're going to talk a little bit about the protein in a minute, but there's phytoestrogens in the protein that actually help with hot flashes and other symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. So, I absolutely love Juice Plus. We take it every single day. And the complete, oh yes, this is the complete. It's a plant-based protein, and you need to be upping your protein as you go through perimenopause and menopause because everything's changing. Your hormones are changing, and you're not absorbing as much. It's harder for your body, so you need to up those things. And I love that. This is plant-based. You're getting a lot more plants. There's things like spirulina and ancient grains that are in this protein mix. But there's also a lot of fiber. I mean, one of the things that did placate me for years was constipation, which can really be an issue. And there's more fiber in this plant-based protein mix than Metamucil. And so I take this every day. And it really helps mitigate the hot flashes because of the water wash soy, the phytoestrogens that are in it. So it comes in chocolate and vanilla. And, I don't know if you're in the chocolate or the vanilla camp, but there's so many things you can do with it. You can make smoothies, but you can also, put it in your muffins, make energy bites, make pudding and different things like that so that you are getting, this is a plant-based resource for you to get some of those phytoestrogens in your body.
Thank you, Erinn. And I would just want to throw in here about the complete. So as I was doing some research for this, I started asking around with, our friends that are older than me that have gone through menopause in the Juice Plus community. I said, what was your experience like? And what is your number one go-to? And all of them who had been on Juice Plus, in perimenopause said, my menopause really wasn't that bad. our friend Carrie was like, I thought mine was really bad. And then I started asking around. She's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And she said her one complaint that she had was she would have kind of like minor night sweats and hot flashes. But once she started doing 2 of the complete shakes a day, she was like, my hot flashes went away and that was it. And several other people said the same thing. Like we asked and we're like, what is the one thing you do? And they're like, the complete every day. Like it will fix your hot flashes. And for so many reasons. One of those reasons being the estrogens in it that basically gives you the building blocks for estrogen. And so you can make more. And that's one of the big reasons that it helps your hot flashes.
There's been a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay.
One is, are these recommended for someone with chronic acid reflux? And just so you guys know, with my husband, he had GERD really bad. He had a tub of Tums on the bedside table, Rolaids in every pocket in the car, and he has a complete shake every day. But he also does the Juice Plus, all blends, including the omegas, and he does not have GERD at all. I mean, I haven't bought a thing of Tums in years. And then I answered the question about the soy as well.
Okay. And I'll say about the GERD too. I used to have chronic indigestion. Like it was every day, like clockwork. I was in my like late 20s and I was like, what is going on? And it had gotten worse and worse and worse. And I had ended up going gluten-free because of completely other reasons. After about 6 months, I was like, had one day where I was like, I have not had indigestion in months. And, and so that's to say, if you're having like a chronic, indigestion, you're having GERD, usually it's related to something you're eating, unless you have an actual like physical issue, which does happen, but most of the time it's because you're eating something that your body doesn't like. And so trying to figure out what that is, if it's something you need to cut out, then that will make it go away. But, like Erinn was saying, when you start taking better care of yourself and you're able to get that nutrition and, like her husband's experience, a lot of things start to work themselves out because you're giving your body what it needs to fix itself. We have this kind of very adversarial idea, I feel like, about our bodies. When we're trying to diet, we're depriving it. When we're we're have indigestion, we're taking something to put it down. We go to the doctor, with menopause symptoms, and we're putting a band-aid on it with hormone replacement therapy and not trying anything else. And so learning to work with your body, because your body's trying to help you. You just got to give it what it needs. And so that's, I think, a lot of ways what we're talking about here too, because once you can start doing that, you're balancing your hormones and you're not having these crazy symptoms. And it all just kind of works itself out. And so we're going to talk about caffeine and alcohol, because who doesn't love both? All right. So alcohol and sugar are both trigger foods for hot flashes and night sweats. And caffeine is as well. And then you get too much caffeine. Like if you're somebody who has more than half a pot of coffee a day, you may be impacting your blood sugar, even if it's black coffee. And then that blood sugar increase is what can cause your hot flashes. So even if you think you're doing good by drinking black coffee, you may just be completely undoing what you think you're doing. And 2, when you're not drinking, a lot of alcohol, like I've noticed if I have really more than 1 glass of wine, I can't sleep. Like, I just cannot go to sleep, or I'll wake up in the middle of the night. And I'm going to tell you all about my little experiment I've done, but it also started giving me night sweats. So, with reducing the caffeine and the sugar and the alcohol, you're going to sleep better, because it's not going to disrupt your hormones. It's not going to make your hypothalamus go, the fires have been stoked. We don't know what to do. So we're just going to stoke them more. That's really what's happening when you're having a hot flash, is your brain just doesn't know what to do with it. And 2, as we age, like once we go through menopause, it can really, all of this can negatively impact our bone health. And we know we need strong bones. We're we're going downhill once our estrogen drops off. So anything we can do to help ourselves, we need to. And two, with our hormones fluctuating, a lot of times there's anxiety, there's moodiness, depression, like all of that goes along with our hormones being out of whack. And so cutting down on the alcohol and the sugar and the caffeine are really helpful for that too. And I want to point out here, I'm not saying don't ever do this. Like you can have a glass of wine, you can have your coffee, but making sure that you're keeping it at a level each day that's not pushing you over the edge. Because all of that builds up over time. And processed foods. We're surrounded by them, right? It's so easy to go through the drive-through and just grab something, or you go get your Starbucks coffee and then you grab your muffin while you're there. You know, a lot of it's just really convenient and it's easy, but it messes with our hormones. And one thing about eating processed foods is when you take the oils in those processed foods, like those super processed oils, your body takes that to make cells. Your cells no longer have a permeable cell wall. So remember back in biology class, you talk about your cells and like you have all the mitochondria and your things going in and out. Well, when you make a cell with a processed oil that your body doesn't know, like recognize from nature, your cell doesn't work. And, you know, that's okay if you had like a muffin one time with that in it. But when you're eating it all the time and say it's like 50% of the food you're eating, well, half your cells aren't working properly. And that causes all kinds of problems. One of those being your hormones are out of whack. And that's also one of the things that can cause us to gain weight. Like even if we're not eating calories in excess, if we're eating the wrong things and it's throwing our hormones off, then we're going to pack on weight because our body's trying to protect itself. It has these toxins and it's going to pack some fat around it because it doesn't know what to do with it. Over time, you get more and more and more. And the oxidative load from processed foods as well. Yeah, it's putting us at risk for all kinds of things, including cancer, inflammation. It impacts our joint health. Mental health and cognitive function are also impacted by, you know, what we're eating. And if we're eating loads of processed food, then we're going to have lots of health problems. And that includes menopause symptoms. And I wanted to share this with y'all. This is 15 years old.
And she's like, ah.
Oh, I'm just thinking about how much McDonald's I ate in high school. And how many French fries I found on my car floor that were not decomposing. They were just kind of hard. And so, you know, we don't think about it when we go and like eat our fast food, but like, this is what it's going to look like. And that's like, I saw somebody say one time and it just tickled me. She was like, is this like why all the fat's on my butt? Like, she's like, did I eat this in high school and it just won't go away? Maybe. So, you know, we think about what this should look like and what it does look like. I feel like it puts it in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And reducing and eliminating gluten and dairy. So I know that I say this and a lot of people like feel the panic. And you don't have to give it up completely, but if you think about we're trying to eat nutritionally dense foods, but bread is not a nutritionally dense food. Like it's a vehicle for nutritionally dense food. You know, you think about like a nice sub sandwich with lots of veggies on it. Well, that's a salad that you've now put like tons of bread around, right? And so, you know, that's, I think that's my big reason for discouraging people from making it a main part of your diet. Now, you know, you look at the Mediterranean diet, like they eat pasta, they eat bread, but it's not a central focus of their diet. So if you're somebody who eats a lot of bread, trying to maybe shift your plate a little bit to have more veggies on it and less bread on it. And we talk about dairy too, like it is inflammatory. It's also not the same dairy that your grandparents ate. It's so processed. It's, you know, I like to compare the cheese like that I get at Kroger to just the cheese, like the block of cheese I get from Whole Foods. They are very different. I have a 7-year-old and I don't eat a lot of cheese, but you know, she does. She she loves the cheese, and I'm like, you're 7. If you're eating, I'm happy. But she will not eat the like Kroger brand brick cheese because she's like, it's gross. And it is. Like if you leave it out of the fridge for a couple of minutes, you can see the difference in like the cheese from Whole Foods and the cheese from the, you know, the standard grocery store. And you know, it's all that to say, like, there's a big difference in a spectrum of quality. Ingredients matter. Ingredients are very important. And when, you know, we're talking about dairy specifically, like the less dairy you can eat, the better. If you're going to eat dairy, try to make it organic. And again, try not to make it the central part of what's on your plate. Like that should be the kind of side and the garnish. And I'm saying that as somebody who like used to rely very heavily on cheese when I was a vegetarian. I was not a good vegetarian. And two, like I said, it's not nutritionally dense and it accelerates skin aging. And I'm not just saying that from a vanity standpoint. You know, as we're aging, we don't make as much collagen, and it makes our skin thin and it makes it less resilient. And that opens us up to a lot of other health problems. And so making sure, like we were talking about in the beginning, making sure you're getting that as much good, you know, high quality produce, add in the Juice Plus for sure, adding in the complete, and then making this other stuff kind of like the secondary stuff that you eat as a really kind of easy shift to make. If you're trying to prioritize. And refined and artificial sugars. So, you know, we were talking about the processed foods. And a lot of processed foods, excuse me, have loads of sugar in them because they're so processed, or you don't have anything natural in them anymore. And so you have to add on in all these sugars to make it taste good. And like our brains love sugar. I mean, we're designed for it. When we were evolving, sugar was hard to find, but it helped us pack on the pounds. And so we evolved to go, well, this is delicious. I need to eat all of this because it might keep you alive in the winter. But now it's all over the place and we're getting too much. And it drives hot flashes and night sweats. If you're talking about, you know, looking for nutritionally dense foods, it's empty calories. Like sugar has no nutritional value. It's there to make things taste good so you'll eat them. And this one I find so interesting is that it increases the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And this is because when your estrogen drops off and you go through menopause, you cannot process sugar as well as you used to. And so you're opened up, especially the way that we eat in the United States, you're opened up to all kinds of health issues because you can't process sugar anymore. So the way you ate in your 20s, in your 30s is not how you can eat in your 40s and 50s and beyond. You have got to change the way you do things, especially if you're somebody who, you know, little Gen X kid grew up like I did, where, you know, we were all drinking Coke. Like I did not drink water until I was in my 20s. I don't know what was going on in the 80s. Nobody drank water. It was juice. It was Kool-Aid. It was Coke. And like, we just can't do that anymore. And again, you know, it accelerates skin aging. And so I want y'all to just look at, so I just want to stop here for a second. How much sugar that is. If you're eating, or if you're having 1 soda per day, you're having 4 pounds of sugar over the course of the month. And that's just the soda. Like that's not including the other stuff that you might be eating too. And, you know, I say this to my clients, you know, we usually talk about like the, you know, the fancy drinks that they like to get at Starbucks. And we look at, I'm going to show y'all in a second, how much sugar is in those. Like you would never go into your kitchen. And even with the one on the left, right? You would never go in to your kitchen and be like, I'm just going to eat that sugar. Like that wouldn't happen, but you put it in a drink and we're like, yeah, that's amazing. This one just blows my mind. So I don't think any of us would sit down and eat 17 donuts. I think we would just get way too full before we could eat the 17 donuts. This drink right here, I can't, what is it? The pumpkin swirl frozen coffee with cream, 32 ounces, which is a lot. 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And like, wow. But you think about, that's a really big one, right? So maybe you go to Starbucks and you get maybe the smaller one. That still has a 1/4 cup of sugar in it. And if you're doing that every day, or maybe you're doing that one day a week, and then, you're having a soda one day as a treat, and then there's cake at the office, and on and on and on, we're getting way, way more sugar than we realize, as delicious as it may be. And so, really making sure that you're keeping it reined in on the sugar and the extra calories, is a good thing to prioritize too. Like if you want to take something away from tonight, that's a really great thing to prioritize, and really sit down with yourself and keep track of it and see how much it actually is, because it's probably going to be more than you realize. And that can have a huge impact on your hot flashes and how you're sleeping. And if you're having weight gain, you're having bloating, sugar is one of the best things to try, is minimizing it and taking it out.
And it's in everything. I mean, you think about the Chick-fil-A sauce. In a little tablespoon of Chick-fil-A sauce, there's a teaspoon of sugar. And the little packets of ketchup, there's a teaspoon of sugar. And the way for you to be able to read the label, just so you may know this, but for every 4 grams of sugar on the label, that's a teaspoon. So it's really easy to start kind of just turning things over and looking at the label, because you think, oh, well, okay, maybe I don't go through the Starbucks line, or I don't have a Coke every day, but it's in so many things, that's one of the things that is an easy fix, just by starting to read the labels and say, okay, I'm going to start reducing. We're not saying never have a donut, or if you're at a party, have a piece of cake, but reducing those things can really help the symptoms that you're having, and being mindful of what you're putting in your mouth, because sometimes it's hidden.
Yeah, like we just don't realize how much we're getting. I had a client recently and she really wanted to cut down on sugar. She's really trying to like kind of rein some things in her diet. She's like, I don't think I get that much sugar. And I was like, okay. And then we would talk and she'd be like, well, I did have a tea. Okay, went got a sweet tea. Like, okay. And, and then she said, well, I did get a Starbucks coffee. And I was like, let's calculate how much sugar is in that. She, like, her face, I wish I had a picture of it. She was like, oh my goodness. She's like, how is that in there? I was like, I don't know how they do it. But when we're in that kind of treat mindset too, of like, oh, well, it's just something here, it's just something here, and we're not keeping track of it. Like you were saying, it is so easy to get way too much. And so I think just being conscious of it, and conscious in like track it for a few days and see how much you're getting. You may surprise yourself. So, that was just a couple of the pieces of the Shred 10 guidelines. And so that is the Menopause Healthy Eating Program. And so, I want y'all to walk away with, understand that, this can improve your symptoms. It will absolutely improve your health if you can, start shifting the way you eat. And, with the Shred 10, we do that, like I said, as a group, once a month. Like we have a Facebook group, but there's loads and loads of people in there. We're not talking specifically about menopause. It's really more for kind of having that support and somebody to cheer you on, which maybe is what you need. And so just to recap, like we're talking about the Shred 10, and really being able to work with your body to find balance. Like I was saying, we have this kind of adversarial attitude towards our bodies. Like I say, our bodies are trying to help us. And if we can find a way to work with them and help them, they will do what we need them to do. And this leads to, not just minimize symptoms during perimenopause, but also improved health post-menopause. And even if you're post, this is a great time to start doing this. Like it is not ever too late to start doing this. And I think if you're especially that point, like where you're just post-menopause and your estrogen is trying to figure out what's going on, this is the best thing you can do for yourself. Like I was saying, hormone replacement therapy absolutely has its place, but we really need to approach our health from a lot of different directions. Like there's no magic pill. I will say if there is a magic pill, like the closest thing to a magic pill is Juice Plus, because it's fruits and veggies and they're magical. But there's not just one thing that you can do to help yourself. You're going to have to do a couple of different things. And I hope that y'all feel like, if you were feeling a little scared when we came into this, that you're feeling like this can be empowering and that you can do this. The steps are here. The knowledge is here. The people are here. We're here to help. And so just to review our guidelines real quick. So the Juice Plus capsules, the complete shakes, highly recommend. Oh, wanted to tell y'all too. I don't think I said this. My daughter will eat it out of the bag. Like it's that good. I've tried many, many protein powders and a lot of them are disgusting. Like she's like, acts like she's doing something naughty. She's like, can I eat some? And I'm like, eat it all. Go for it. And we make chocolate milk and hot chocolate with it. So if a 7-year-old will eat it, it's good. Getting plenty of sleep, which I know can be hard if you're having night sweats and hot flashes. But again, eating this way will start to get that under control. Drinking plenty of water, exercising most days, which I would love to do one just on exercise. A workshop like this is on exercise. Caffeine and alcohol reduced. Trying to not eat after 6 p.m. So having a nice long fast each day, 12 to 16 hours is great. Gives your body a chance to reset. So if you're digesting food while you're sleeping, your body isn't able to actually rest like it's working. So having that good fast in there, cutting down on the processed foods, and eliminating or drastically reducing gluten and dairy and artificial and refined sugars. And I know that's a lot. It's a lot to take on. So one little step at a time. And so one of the reasons that I really love the Shred 10, even if you're not like working one-on-one or in a group coaching, with me or somebody else, is that this allows for small steps. Like you could do it and you could pick one thing and be like, I'm just going to do this for 10 days. Like, I'm just going to make sure I drink enough water for 10 days. And then you practice that for a while and then you do it again. And then maybe incorporate something else. And so that over and over and over habit change is what makes this work. And it's foundational nutrition and supplementation. So like I was saying too, what we can't eat like we did in our 20s. Like we're going to really have to approach this with some creativity and in a new way. And change the way we do things. And, it gives your body what it needs to find balance, like balancing your hormones. So that they're not swinging back and forth. You're having these crazy hot flashes and mood swings. Maybe you're just doing a little swing instead of back and forth. And when I'm working one-on-one, we do a lot of transformational coaching. And that's, when you think about transformation, like for me, I think of a butterfly and change. And, that's for a lot of us when we're going through this phase of life, like we're changing in so many ways. And so having somebody to support you and do that with you is what I do with my clients one-on-one. And I'm working on getting some group coaching going. I love group coaching. And so I wanted to tell y'all how this has helped me. So, like I was saying, in my early 30s, late 20s, I was having a lot of health problems and I knew I needed to make some changes. I did them the hard way because that's how I do things. did them on my own. I did find a doctor who helped me. She diagnosed me with adrenal fatigue and I was still trying to supplement my way out of it. Then my daughter came along and really had a hard time. And then I met Erinn. and introduced me to Juice Plus, and that was when I really got going with making these changes. It was like it gave me that extra push I needed, and I think it just made me honestly feel better. It was not even on my radar when I started taking it that I might not have adrenal fatigue anymore. And so that was a really big part of my health journey. And so then fast forward to now, and I started having hot flashes and stuff. And I was like, well, I've done all this work already. Like, I know this works. I know what I used to feel like and what I feel like now. Like, this stuff works. And I had one little kind of hanger on, which was the hot flashes. And so I found a supplement that we'll talk a little bit about that really helped me with that. And I decided to do an experiment and get off all of my supplements, because it was like, I know this works, but I'm trying to explain to women like how much this can do for you and what it can do for your hormones. And so I got off all my supplements. I'm about to get back on them. I was like, okay, it's been long enough. Wow. I mean, crazy hot flashes like all the freaking time. Every morning. If I have like more than a glass and a half of wine, like I wake up in the middle of the night just hot, like sweaty, super duper moody. Like I yelled at my family the other day, like, y'all, I'm not a yeller, but something just, and it was something that arguably like has been going on for a while. And I was like, y'all gotta stop doing this, but it was over the top. And still feel bad about it. I've apologized, but like that is not me. But that is what comes along with our changing hormones, is like we're talking about. I want to feel comfortable in my own skin again. I want to like not be a moody mess. And so that all started when I stopped taking my supplements, and we'll be getting back on them real soon. The Juice Plus first. And so it really does make a difference. And then Erinn, I wanted you to tell a little bit about your story.
Yeah, well, this has been great, Maggie, and hopefully you guys have been encouraged, because it's crazy how starting with nutrition can really eliminate a lot of the symptoms. And then if you find one or two things that are still lingering, you can do something about those. But menopause has been mostly symptom free for me. And I think it's because of that nutritional piece. And yeah, I do have hot flashes. But like I said earlier, I kind of shared my story too soon, didn't I?
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, I'm taking the complete on the daily. That helps me with the fiber and the regularity, and with the phytoestrogens and the hot flashes. It also has 500 milligrams of plant sourced calcium, so it helps with bone health. Bone density decreases as we age, and so I really like that I'm not having to take a calcium supplement. When I did the research on that, calcium supplements can actually be do damage. So I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, because my grandmother was taking calcium supplements on every single day, and she had osteopenia really, really badly. So that's just fascinating to me, and I love that I'm getting a plant-based source calcium. And then exploring other supplements, and Maggie's going to talk a little bit about that for hot flashes. I take a tea that I just get online. It's called Damania tea, and that helps with libido and with hot flashes. So, and that's something that you can order. But I'm so grateful that I heard about Juice Plus. Gosh, it's been 12 years ago, and that I'm investing in my health and my family's health. Something that's kind of cool is that they have something called a Healthy Starts for Families program. So anybody that takes Juice Plus, they can sponsor a child from 4 years old all the way till they're 25 years old. They can get it for free. So that's just like an added bonus. My grandkids, I'm sponsoring them to get it for free every day, so that it bridges the gap between what they're eating on a daily basis and a little bit of the pickiness as they're young. It helps them get those fruits and vegetables in every single day. So they have chewables for kids, and I just throw my capsules right into my shakes, and I don't open them or anything. The capsules are made of tapioca. So they're vegetarian. I mean, there's nothing in them that, so I just throw those in with my complete shake, and I get all that nutrition in every single day. And yeah, and I just love it. I'm so grateful. And I know that it's also protecting my health from those chronic other diseases that are just in my family history, just protecting my brain from Alzheimer's and the cancers and things they're in my history, that, I'm doing all that I can, to give me a better future than the epigenetics that I've been served, right? So.
Thank you. And so, y'all can take this and run with it. I'm going to send out, a follow-up email. You're going to get a recording. You'll get more information. You're on my email list. Like, you're going to get lots of stuff, but, this is a lot to do by yourself. Like I was talking about the transformational coaching before, and it's easy to exist in a vacuum, especially if I think, especially when we start talking about menopause, because it's such a taboo subject. I know, I think we're all more open than like our parents' generation were, like, by far, but it's still something that, like, people get really nervous and sensitive about. And not everybody has girlfriends they can go and talk to about this stuff. I mean, I do, because I run my mouth all the time, but, not everybody has that. And two, I mean, it's to make change, like, we need support, we need accountability. We're very social creatures, and it's easy to talk ourselves out of making change. It's always tomorrow. One of my friends, if she's like, I'll just start on Monday. Like, every time, I'll just start Monday. That's a running joke. Monday. So, I have several different things that I offer. I offer a free consultation, anybody. And, I offer one-on-one. I'm, like I said, I'm getting some group coaching going, got some courses coming down, pipeline I'm really excited about. We've got the Juice Plus products. I am an affiliate with them. And then if you sign up, as a Juice Plus customer, and you want to participate in the Shred 10, like, we will get you hooked up, and I will be your girl. But I'd say that all to tell you, like, I have something to fit everybody's budget. Like, I don't want y'all to walk away and be like, wow, that was awesome, but I can't afford whatever. We will find a way to help you. Like, that is why we are here. And so, I just, with the one-on-one coaching, like I said, this feels overwhelming. You're going to get personalized help from me, because people will be like, well, what supplement should I take? Or, what about this? And what about this? And without having, a conversation about what you're doing every day, what you're eating, what you've done in the past. I work with a lot of women who, have emotional eating issues, or, they've had food cravings for years. They feel like they're a sugar addict. Like, all of those things combine to make you who you are, and are going to give you your own unique set of challenges that personalized help you'll benefit from. Because this one size fits all idea is, like, it just doesn't work for everybody. Like, what worked for me may not work for you. And so we got to figure out what's going to work for you. And so this is our friend Leanne. I just love this picture so much. So Leanne, I don't have a before picture, but she has this really great picture of her in her early 40s, and she's got like a Diet Coke on the counter. She's putting vegetables down the garbage disposal because nobody would eat them in her house. She's pretty overweight. She had osteopenia, and she discovered Juice Plus. She's dedicated Shred 10er. She went, like I was saying, from, very unhealthy at 40 to thriving in her 60s. And I didn't realize this. I didn't realize how much weight she had lost, but 80 pounds she lost. And she wasn't dieting. Like, she said, she'd always been on a diet. It went with the Diet Coke years. Like, she was like, I was always on a diet. But when she decided to be healthier and really focus on her nutrition and take care of herself, that's when the weight started to come off. And her mom died of complications of osteoporosis, and it's like, she told me a story, and it just breaks my heart. She's like, I don't want to go out that way. Like, she was so close to her mom. She said to see her mom like that in her, final days, just broke her heart. And she's like, I don't want to do that to my kids. And I asked her what her experience was, and she's like, well, she's like, I maybe had a hot flash here and there. I don't really have any symptoms of menopause. So again, I want to be like you. But she had started on the Juice Plus products, you know, a couple of years, I think, before she went into menopause. And so I feel like she's just such a good example of, you know, what you can do. And then our next star, Erinn, do you want to tell us about Susie?
Yes. So Susie, so I came an hour early to the meeting tonight because I was so excited. She came a week early to learn about the Shred 10 because she was at 185 pounds postmenopausal. She had high cholesterol. She actually was on depression and anxiety medications. She was on medications for acid reflux and her digestive issues. She had systemic inflammation, aggressive osteoarthritis. She had mental fog. She had a receding hairline. She had thin and brittle nails, and she was needing, 2 or 3 naps a day. And her husband retired, and he's got a boat and wanting to go to the lake, and she's, she can't hardly function. And this is her after she's 140 pounds. Her acid reflux is totally gone. Her cholesterol is in normal range. Her inflammation is reduced. Her energy is she wasn't able to exercise because she just didn't have the energy. And now she's leading an exercise class in her neighborhood. Her receding hairline has regrown. Her nails are strong. Her dental health improved. She was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this, but she'd gone to her doctor after she'd done the shreds several times. And her dentist was like, what have you done? Your gums aren't bleeding. Your pocket depth is improved. And she was like, well, let me tell you, I'm doing this Shred 10 and it's incredible. And she has mental clarity, and all depression and anxiety medications are gone. And she is just a completely different person. And, she did the Shred 10, she did all of the things. She was like, if I'm going to invest in myself and in my health, I'm doing it all the way. So she's a great example of a total health transformation using the Shred 10, and her menopause symptoms are completely mitigated now. So she's a great example.
Yeah, she is. And one reason I wanted to share her story too is like, we kind of have this picture in our heads of, once you go through menopause, like you're going to gain weight and, you can never change your body again. And, all these things. And that is just so not true. And, we don't have to gain weight during menopause. Like it's normal to gain a little bit because fat makes estrogen. We need estrogen. But if you like, I've seen so many women go to their doctor and they're like, I've gained 40 pounds. And their doctor's like, oh, just menopause.
Right.
It's no, it does not have to be that way. And there's a lot of reasons that happens. I don't want to get us too on to estrogen right now, but it doesn't have to be like that. So that's why I wanted to share Susie's story. So I'm going to put in the chat, I'm going to put my link in here before I forget, because I will.
Well, and I know you have a plan to do a follow-up email with all of your information on how to get started on Juice Plus, and a little bit about the family health study and working one-on-one. So that's coming too, but you can make a copy of this link and to schedule a session. And I can just say, Maggie and I've known each other, gosh, is it 8 years now?
I think so, close to it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It is like having a best friend that you can talk to about this, but that actually is a great resource and can hold you accountable to your health goals. But is not, she's a coach, she's a coach. I think she's just a natural at it, and it feels good to talk to somebody that can help you see some perspective and make some plans, hold you accountable to your goals, and also have some resources for you to get through this time.
Oh, thank you. So before we finish up, I wanted to give y'all, I want to do a little FAQ. So there's some of the common stuff that I get. So after the last workshop I talked about Juice Plus, and somebody emailed me and they said, are there other options for the supplements you shared? And I was like, not really. Like I've done my research on all this stuff. And I don't think we talked about this, but Juice Plus is backed by primary research. And what that means is research is done directly on these products. It's not like you go get a vitamin C supplement and they're like, oh, well, this is vitamin C, it's good for you. And this supplement has vitamin C in it, therefore the supplement is good for you. That's secondary research. This is research done on these products to say they do what they say they do. And so, there are like a few kind of similar products to Juice Plus, but they are inferior. Like they're just not as good. So I was trying to figure out a way to like put this in perspective, and I was like, okay, well, there's 45 whole fruits and veggies, and I still don't think you could do this for this amount of money. Like it would still cost you more, but just play along, right? $45 a week times 4 weeks is $180 a month. I don't know how you would get all of these in your diet every day, because like we only need just a little bit of all this stuff. Like we don't need pounds of it every day. We just need a little bit, enough to go into our body and do what it needs to do. So that would be minimum $180 a month. I still don't think you could do it for that. And I just realized I did not update my prices here. But if you were doing the shred, highly recommend the full package, which is more stuff than the 45 fruits and veggies, because it also has the omega in it. Plus, if you're doing the complete every day and you're doing like a smoothie, you're getting even more fruits and veggies in there. That's only $150 a month. So, I think we look at it sometimes and go, wow, that's a lot of money. And then we put it in that perspective, it's actually really not. It's a great deal. And then I was like, okay, well, looking at the label on, I think I did the vegetable blend, the red, just isolated nutrients, high quality nutrients that you could go get, that's $129 a month. And you're not getting all the fiber, you're not getting, all of the enzymes, like everything that comes with fruits and veggies. And so again, like to put it in perspective, it's really not that expensive. And I like to think about this as like my capsules are my medical, my preventative medicine, and the complete is part of my grocery bill, because like it's food, right? You're going to eat it. And we do all kinds of fun stuff with it. And so another one I get is like, I've gained weight during perimenopause, menopause. Will this help me lose weight? And we kind of address this too with Susie's story, is it written in stone that I'll gain weight during menopause? And no, like you do not have to gain weight during menopause. Oh, let me go back. It depends on a lot of factors, but even if you do gain weight, like if your hormones are in check, if they're balanced, then that weight's going to come off, like once you find that balance. And like the Shred 10 is not a weight loss program. Like it's not a diet. I don't like using the word diet. I feel like it has a lot of negative connotations for a lot of people. And we really think about like deprivation and that adversarial relationship, right? And so this is a way of eating, right? It is a diet, and it is what you're eating every day. And if you're eating healthy and you're finding that balance, you're going to lose weight. Like that's just how it works. So it's not a diet program, but it is something that if you need to lose weight, will help you lose weight, because it's going to help get you balanced out. Mm-hmm. And some other supplements I recommend. So Feminescence here, that's what I started taking for my hot flashes, and it was amazing. Like it really helped even me out. Again, primary research on this product. I will send out a link to this as well. And it's a maca supplement. Somebody asked me like, can I just go get maca off Amazon? You can. But there's lots of different kinds of maca, and they have formulated these specifically for different phases of our fertility cycle. And like there's some macas that if you're taking the wrong kind, it can actually have the opposite impact that you want it to. So don't just go grab a maca supplement because people say it's good for balancing hormones. Like you really have to make sure you have the right one. And then we talked about this a little bit too, like how does this relate to hormone replacement therapy? I think it can work in conjunction with it. I tell all my clients that I work with, like address your food, diet, exercise, make sure you're sleeping enough, like do all the things you need to do, and then see where you are. Because if you just go straight for the hormone replacement therapy, you're just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it. And, you know, like I was saying, you're not working with your body, you're just really kind of trying to force it to do something it's having a hard time doing. And that can have some really negative impacts. And, you know, with hormone replacement therapy, like there are some risks associated with it. So I come through it from the perspective of, if you cannot do those things and you don't, right? It's not my go-to. I'm not anti-meds in any capacity, but like with everything else, I think it has a place. And I just want you to ask yourself, like, what's going to happen when you leave here tonight? Like, you came because you're having some problems, like you have some things you want to address. And so, you know, when you wake up tomorrow, what's going to change? What are you going to do to make things change for yourself? And with that, I thank you so much for coming. Like, if y'all have questions, I can stick around for a while. You can put them in the chat. You can unmute yourself. I've got the link in the chat to schedule a time to talk to me. I'll be sending out a recording of this tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Try to stop that. There we go.